everyone! Today I'm going to show you 3 different ways you can decorate and dye your Easter eggs using crayons. Let's go! So you're going to need vinegar, food coloring, some bottle caps, some containers, white eggs, crayons, a pot, and scissors or a sharpener. Okay, so once our water is boiling, we're going to put our eggs right into the water. So the first method I'm going to show you is the tie-dye crayon method. So for this, you're going to need to take the paper off of your crayons that you're going to use, and then you can either use a sharpener or you can use scissors to make thin, short shavings. So now that we have our crayon shavings and our eggs are finished boiling, we're going to take one egg. As soon as it's out, you want it nice and hot, and you're going to put it on this bottle cap. Okay, I have one on the bottle cap and one just flat, and you're going to want to just pick up your shavings and put it right on top. And the heat from the egg is going to start to melt the wax of the crayons. So that's why you want them to be thin. That way they can melt faster. And you can see it's starting to happen there. And it's just gonna become like a beautiful tie-dye effect. So you can make it any color you want and just be as unique as you want with these. So I went ahead and added 1 tablespoon of vinegar to each of these containers of water. And now I'm going to put these eggs into there. Now we're going to do the second method. So for this, we're going to take 1 white egg and your white crayon, and you're going to write your name right on there. Now let's dip it in the dye. Now you're going to leave your eggs in the dye for about 5 minutes or so until they take on the color that you want it to have. So here's the eggs right out of the dye, and now we're going to do the third method. So for this, you're going to need any color crayon, and you're going to draw right on your egg. Here I drew some swirls and some stars, and it doesn't matter what color crayon you use, because you won't see that color at the end. Now let's dip this egg into a different color dye that we didn't use the first time. For this method, you're going to need some petroleum jelly to help take the crayon off. So now you're going to put some of the petroleum jelly all over the egg, and then take a paper towel and start to rub off that crayon. You're going to need to use some pressure, but not too much because it's still fragile. And you should see the color appear from when we first dyed the egg. Alright, so here's how the 4 of my eggs came out. I think they came out really beautiful. So the method that we use for these eggs is called crayon resist. And what that means is that the crayon will repel the watercolor away from it. These are the 2 eggs that we used the crayon shavings on. So this one is the one that we had standing upright on the bottle cap. And as you can see, the bottom of the egg got stained by the dye. And that's because the wax from the crayons didn't go all the way to the bottom. Whereas this one was laying flat. So the spot that was on the paper plate actually has like a splattered look effect. Most of this egg is covered by crayon wax, so not much of the dye really got in. So if you want your egg to look like this, put a lot of crayon wax. If you don't, leave some spaces empty and it'll be stained by your dye. This one was fun to do because I started out with the white egg, and then I took a white crayon and wrote my name on it. And I couldn't see my name until we put it in the dye. And then it's kind of like magic, your name just appears, or whatever secret message you want to write on your egg or design. The final egg that we did used an extra step where we had to use Vaseline to take off the crayon that we put on it. But when we dyed it first, then drew on it, and then put it back in the dye, then used Vaseline to rub off, it kind of made a really cool effect where if you don't want a white background, you can have the color of the dye you had the first time. But what I did observe is that when I leave it in the vinegar longer, it kind of had this speckled egg kind of effect. So I mean, if you like that, definitely try it out. Try this method out to make some beautifully designed eggs, and let me know how you like it.